Welcome to For Real Music. I'm Vincent and we have Space 92 with us. Welcome to Hong Kong.
Thank you so much. Real pleasure to be here.
We're really excited to have you and we're so excited to learn about your music journey and of course the stories behind your big hits. So let's get right into it. Our fans know your name Space 92 is because you love space and also it's your birth year, but what causes your inspiration behind space?
I mean, since early kid, I was dreaming, all the time dreaming about something, and I was so captivated about space, I had a telescope, so I was looking on the sky, and I had so many movies and documentary about the space, so I was fascinated about the huge cosmos that we have, and we are so, we are just a little planet, and it's really crazy to think the galaxy is so huge and maybe there is other galaxies, so it's kind of crazy thing, and I was always fascinated about that.
I think it inspired your imagination as well, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You started really young when you were 16. How did electronic music catch your attention, and from back then and now, how has it evolved?
I started I had maybe 14 years old. I was doing BMX, with my friends, dirt jumps and all these things. And I had this little iPod, and I was listening music. And I heard a track from Stefan Bodzin on this first album called Liebe ist. And yeah, I felt something, an emotion, about the melodies and all these things. And after listening that, I was all the time in my imagination. I had so many imagination about creating melodies and stuff like that, but I was not able to recreate that, So I started to get some interest for producing, and try to learn how to produce, to create the imagination that I had in my head, and put it into a computer and make melodies and stuff like that.
A lot of experimentation.
Exactly. So it was a lot of experimentation. Back in the days, there were no tutorials on YouTube and stuff like that, so it was not easy as today. So I had to practice. And yeah, I would say Stefan Bodzin was my main inspiration to get into the electronic music and produce music.
Well, thanks to him, we have some big hits from you, right? Open Motion and of course, Offbeat. Now, can you tell us about your creative process in the studio?
Well, I'm starting mainly with a melody or an idea of a melody, something that I want to work with. And then after that, I try to create all the other elements around the melody. That's my process. Sometimes there is other producers who are starting with a kick and the bass.
Yep.
Me, I need to have something special already in my mind, like a melody or something really interesting.
Yeah.
Yes. And then after that, I create the whole background around that.
So you're one of those with the iconic melodic line before you layer things.
Yes.
Because you're right, a lot of people build it from the bottom or build from the top, or
Exactly.
the most iconic moments.
Exactly.
How do you know that song is going to be a hit? Is it because of the melody or what you add on afterwards?
It's a weird feeling, because you sometimes you can believe it's going to be a hit, but it's not the result that you was expecting. And sometimes you are just okay, it's a really good track, but it's became a hit. But I can feel when there is something really special,
Tingling, something
Yes.
tingling in your body.
Yes. And then with that, I'm okay. For me, it's really important to create tracks that I didn't heard, something which is really unique. I try to create something unique and something would change, the whole process of what we can hear, from all around, So that's why sometimes it's taking me two months to finish a track, because I want to get something unique and special.
Something genuine, right?
Exactly.
And you actually led right into our next question. Now, with your music, how would you describe your characteristic?
Well, it's a combination between techno, trance, and maybe now a little bit of art techno rhythmic rhythms, let's say. I try to get influence of a lot of things that I like. I'm listening every kind of electronic music, but mainly I would say trance for the melodies, and the emotion, and real techno, background from Berlin or stuff like that, more underground.
Yeah.
And I try to combine all these things together.
Now, you talked about how music does take a bit of time because we want to make something unique. How does that balance between innovation and making sure everyone recognizes it's you?
Well, for my process, my percussions, like offbeat percussions, are recognizable. So I try to keep that, from the structure, and then after I try to innovate with new sounds, and like maybe new way to bring the melodies or maybe the drop or something like that,
Okay.
But I try to get all the time, like the recognizable structure.
Yes, we need to know that it's Space 92, right?
Yes, exactly.
Perfect. Now, you worked with some big names like High Low and Pop Off. What was most exciting about them, and who or whom would you like to work with next?
Yeah, of course, I was working with big names, and I'm really thankful for that, because it's like
Inspiration too.
Yeah, exactly.
Icons.
Yeah. All the time when I was producing with someone else, it gave me new like inspiration for new tracks, like solo tracks.
Yes.
And especially with Ilo, because like really much like the building melodies. I never saw someone like this, so talented guy. So yeah, it was like a lot of fun to make these collaborations. And now I have like a new collaboration with Madix, which is coming and going out on 11 July.
Oh, the public already know about this? It's live, right?
Yeah. There is already a lot of videos and people are asking.
Like we just got some exclusive.
But they don't know the release date. You only know that.
Okay, make sure to stay tuned for that. Next up, we know techno music is constantly evolving, like as music is. What do you think is the next trend?
At the moment, I saw like hard groove and like pumping trance tracks are like really hype at the moment. The electronic music, it's always cycles of genres and subgenres, stuff like that. But it's really interesting, because I can like get some inspiration of all these all of these hypes, and try to combine with my stuff also, So a lot of things is emerging, and it's interesting to see like the scene is evolving constantly. I would say.
And with social media, because we have videos everywhere, everyone's creating music, what you say, like technology is so accessible. Trends are constantly evolving with new technologies, like for example, AI. How does that impact techno music and creativity?
Now with the social networks and with internet and the tutorials, there is like younger and younger producers, start to creating music. So there is like so many like good music coming to the market every week. So this is a really good thing. I mean, like it's impacting a good way for creativity. It's offering like new possibilities, with the AI for the vocals or whatever. So it's evolving, like the process, and it's bringing us like new tools to evolve our music. So which is a really good thing. And the social media, of course, like it's a key for at the moment to express yourself, and to be known like more rapidly. But because back in the days, like on the flyers, you didn't have like your face and stuff like that. So now the DJs are getting more like let's say pop stars.
Yeah.
So it's a new game, but for me, it's totally fine. Like I like it. I like to meet the people, and to share my energy. We have to evolve with our time.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the only key and the only way to do.
A side question, would you collaborate with young artists? For example, say like the next 8-year-old kid just managed to make something. Would you be interested in working with this person?
For sure. I think it's really important to stay to have like the eyes open on the new generation, because they listen a lot of music, then they get a lot of knowledge that we maybe don't have the time to get because we are traveling as crazy. So I think it's really important to keep an eye, and see what is the next big, names coming. And sometimes it's good, because this kind of collaboration can create something like unexpected, and the people can enjoy that. So for sure.
Well, lots of hope for those young viewers. Make sure you give it a try, maybe reach out to Space 92. You've worked at, or you've played at a lot of big festivals. Which one was most iconic for you?
The last week we played EDC Las Vegas, and I had to say it was really special to play a closing set, and then the sun came. It was like pretty crazy. But to be honest, like with all these festivals, maybe Awakenings was a festival that gave me a special feeling. People knew exactly the music, and even when you played underground sounds, the people feel it, and
the vibe.
Yeah, the vibe is really underground there, and I really like that.
It's really magical when you play something and everyone is on the same wavelength.
Yes,
Like that's
I felt that.
okay.
You know?
That's what makes it special. It's syncing all together.
Yeah, exactly.
We also know that you've mentioned before you're not much of an after party guy. You're more like after a gig, you want to chill out. How do you recharge then? Like when it's back-to-back gigs, maybe you're on tour. How do you relax?
I'm not doing after parties because if I'm doing after parties, I don't know if I will be still alive with this crazy life. So I try to go back to the hotel, and you know, like with all the pressure that you have during a gig, it's really complicated to find like sleep. But I like to chill, you know, and relax, you know, and to be on the bed, you know, and yeah. I try to get this process, and also practicing sport is helping me to get like the energy, you know, like every weekends. It's really important for the head. It's really important for the body. So I try to be like that, and you know, like people ask me with like touring every weekends. Most of them are not doing after parties because it's already too much for our body to do what we are doing.
Work-life balance. We need to find a place to relax ourselves.
Yes.
Even though music is very enjoyable for everybody,
Yes.
we need a place to relax, relax the brain, wellness, all of those good things.
It's really important to us, like this balance.
So it's a lifelong game, right?
Exactly.
It's a journey. It's not
Exactly.
just 5 months and then I'm off to retirement. It's continuous.
Yeah.
Making sure our body can move along.
It's really important because you can burn yourself like really rapidly.
I have a question. Is it your first time in Hong Kong?
Yes, it is.
Okay, well, again, welcome to Hong Kong. What kind of foods have you tried already?
We had like this. We had chicken.
Okay.
Like a crispy chicken.
Okay.
Like from a traditional like a restaurant, a Cantonese restaurant yesterday night.
Okay.
It was on top of the chicken
okay.
that I was trying in the whole life.
Food
It
is
was
the
insane.
best way we greet our guests. And with that in mind, our Hong Kong fans are very excited to see you. What is your expectation for your performance tonight?
I will give like 100% of my energy. I will like you know, like give it, and I hope the people will receive it, and we can share like the connection that I try to create all the time. But I'm sure it's gonna be massive. I'm really looking forward.
That's good. And to wrap up, what is next for Space 92? What is upcoming?
I mean, like I recently opened my own label like 2 months ago, and we are really proud of the 2 releases that we were doing. Like we had almost one Beatport #1 and one Spotify Techno Bunker playlist, you know, ranking #1. So I'm really happy with that, and we are expecting so many like good collaboration with friends of me, you know, and also new artists, you know, coming to the label. So I will focus on the label, you know, mainly for now. And of course, really huge collaboration on other labels, you know, with other artists that I was like dreaming to collaborate with later in 2025. So it's gonna be really, really interesting.
That sounds really exciting. I could see it in your eyes. You're really passionate about your music.
Yes.
So thank you so much for joining us. This is Space 92. Make sure you're checking him out, and make sure to like, follow, share, and subscribe for real music for more exclusive interviews with people like Space 92. Make sure to check us out. Thank you and good night.
Thank you guys. Cheers.
Cheers. Awesome. Thank you, man.
Thanks to you.
Awesome.
Was good?
Yes, it was great.